is the part for me where I think we can create some awareness, and I think it can make a very big difference to quite a few horses. Is I like when it comes to choosing the bit, and let's say, for example, we are going to put the horse in a palom, and maybe it's a junior horse or it's a child pony or something like, whatever the reason might be, and we do want to be using something that's a little bit stronger. We need to bit the mouthpiece to suit the horse, and we need to be aware of the things that have changed and the developments that have been made in terms of the design and manufacturing of bits, which has come a long way.
It's changed dramatically.
It has. There's been a lot of research done. There's been quite a lot of money put into it. And these days, and we have access to that in our country, there is some really well-made bits. Okay, and this is an example. So this is a ported mouthpiece, what we would refer to as a ported mouthpiece, but this is the actual name for it is a happy tongue, or bomber blue happy tongue. So traditional ports back in the day, and still now, if you go into
and buy an old double bridle,
if you go and buy a factory manufactured copy, you'll see the port is shaped, it's quite narrow, it's a little bit higher in some cases, and most especially on either side of the port, the edge to it is actually quite sharp, and it's narrow. Now, theoretically, you are supposed to port a bit to allow space for the horse's tongue. Now,
there's no tongue.
Well, not one that I've seen, that's for sure. So instead of making space for the tongue, it ends up pressing down into the tongue, those two edges. Now, that's a simple thing. So when I do my little demo and I put the horribly made palom bit on with, for example, that traditional, and I do this, the person will flinch. They'll be like, what did you just do to me? And then I'll take something that's better made, and there's, as I say, in more modern bits, that's the case, because they've studied, they've looked at it, and they've thought, okay, this needs to conform to the shape of the horse's tongue as much as we can to provide tongue relief and to prevent the top of that port, as an example, from hitting the roof of the mouth. Then when I put it on and do this, the person, no change in facial expression. And
so when that's rotating, the port is not meant to touch the palate.
No, it's not meant to touch the palate. And you can actually see, if you can see on my arm there, that is roughly the width of a horse's tongue. You can see it conforms to it. And if you do this, you can go and trial this for yourself at home, you will feel the difference.
Yeah.
And that's a simple thing. So for me, that's an important thing. And another one, as in staying in the palom family just for now, is straight bar metal paloms, for example. That one exerts a tremendous amount of pressure on the horse's tongue because there's nowhere for it to go.
Between the curb chain and the mouthpiece.
And it's sore. So, this is why we've moved away from using things like that and going for these things that mouthpiece-wise is more comfortable for the horse. And in my mind, if the mouth is a bit more comfortable, surely the horse is going to be a little bit more tolerant and more responsive to the added pressure. So, so if I expect you to run 5 kilometers and I put a stone in your shoe and I make sure the shoe doesn't fit, you're not going to willingly run those 5 kilometers.
Even if I actually was quite a talented runner.
Exactly. If I put the best shoes on,
and now I'm not a talented runner and you're making my life harder.
But if you're a bit more comfortable in your shoes, you'll at least be a little bit more keen to do it. So that's...
I had a coach once say to me, I said I think I should try different bits, and they were very annoyed with me and said, you must just learn to ride properly. And I said, okay, I'd love to do that overnight, but in the absence of that, perhaps we could try.
It's an add-on. It's
a marginal gain. So I say to people,
that's a good marginal gain. I like to say it's an incremental improvement.
Oh, that's lovely.
And that's what we're looking for. But
if you get enough 1%, you get a whole 10%.
Exactly. If we can add, and anything that we can do to add to the horse's comfort, I think it's our responsibility to do.